virtual DJ.
الو. Dear respected guests, please take seats. Our students also give space for our guests to sit. Our patron and guest will come now. Dear all, please take seats. We will start our activity within minutes. Thank you. الحضور الكرام، الرجاء الالتزام بالمقاعد. سيبتدئ حفلنا بعد دقائق. شكرا لكم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Distinguished patron, His Excellency Engineer Badr bin Salim Al-Ma'mari, Chairman of the Projects, Tenders and Local Content Authority, and Professor Ahmed bin Khalfan Al-Rawahi, Chancellor of the University of Nizwa, Dr. Rashid bin Saeed Al-Abri, Conference Chair, Vice Chancellor, Deans and Directors of University of Nizwa, esteemed guests, respected keynote speakers, honorable sponsor, respected delegates, faculty members, researchers, students, and valued visitors.
On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the International Conference on Creative Engineering and Emerging Technologies Exploring Future Ages, ICC EET 2026, hosted by the University of Nizwa in the Sultanate of Oman. This conference is broadly co-organized by the University of Hull, United Kingdom, Comsat's University, Pakistan, Al Hussein bin Talal University, Jordan, University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Nizwa, and Fudan University, China, and generously sponsored by Nama Electricity Distribution, Oman Electricity Transmission Company, Wadi Noor Solar Power Company, and the Majang Council.
The conference is in collaboration with Obal, Medayin, and Arab RINA. We are truly honored to have such an esteemed gathering of academics, researchers, industry experts, and students from across the globe to share knowledge and explore the advancements in engineering and science and other disciplines.
I am Sundus Al-Ma'mari, a bachelor student in University of Nizwa.
I am Adi Al-Far'i, student in the College of Engineering and Architecture, University of Nizwa.
And we are your hosts today.
Let us now begin this promising inauguration ceremony. To commence this event with the blessing, we are inviting Mr. Saif Mohsen Al-Mandari for the recitation from the Holy Quran. May I request everyone to remain seated and listen respectfully.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. هو الذي أنزل من السماء ماء لكم منه شراب ومنه شجر فيه تسيمون ينبت لكم به الزرع والزيتون والنخيل والأعناب ومن كل الثمرات إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون وسخر لكم الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بأمره إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون وما ذرأ لكم في الأرض مختلفا ألوانه إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يذكرون وهو الذي سخر البحر لتأكلوا منه لحما طريا وتستخرجوا منه حلية تلبسونها وترى الفلك مواخر فيه ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وأنهارا وسبلا لعلكم تهتدون وعلامات وبالنجم هم يهتدون أفمن يخلق كمن لا يخلق أفلا تذكرون وإن تعدوا نعمة الله لا تحصوها إن الله لغفور رحيم صدق الله العظيم.
To provide a glimpse of our university academic excellence and vision, we will now watch a short video about the University of Nizwa. May I request the technical team to kindly play the video.
النجاح ليس قصة تروى بل صناعة تتقن لرؤية يصوغها طموح متقد وتدركها عزيمة تواقة للقمم. تنسج عنفوانها رسالة جلية تعكس سمو المبادئ وفيض اليقين. تأخذنا تلك الرسالة لتعكس منهج جامعة نزوة لتبني الإنسان المتسلح بالفضائل والمهارات المتحفز للتعلم مدى الحياة ليكون شعلة وقادة يصنع الفارق أينما حل كجزء من الحل لا جزء من المشكلة وفيضا يخصب البلاد عطاء وبناء.
وأن الاهتمام بقطاع التعليم بمختلف أنواعه ومستوياته وتوفير البيئة الداعمة والمحفزة للبحث العلمي والابتكار سوف يكون في سلم أولوياتنا الوطنية.
وبذات الروح الوثابة للأمل والمستقبل توجه الجامعة طاقاتها البشرية وسائر إمكاناتها للإسهام الفاعل في إدراك رؤية عمان 2040 تحقيقاً للريادة في التعليم والتعلم والصدارة في البحث العلمي والابتكار وحسن العطاء في خدمة المجتمع والإسهام بعزم في تحقيق مفاهيم الجامعة الريادية المنتجة المعززة للاستدامة والمحفزة لمنظومة ريادة الأعمال. تنمو الجامعة وتزداد ألقاً بعطاءات أبنائها وبناتها في حقول العلم والتعلم، إذ تتنوع برامجها الأكاديمية ودرجاتها العلمية لتتناغم مع كامل الطيف لاحتياجات الوطن، لتعزز القدرات وترتقي بالمعارف والمهارات، كما تشحذ همم طلابها عبر برامج الإنماء الطلابي، فبين إبداع يصقل المواهب ويبني روح الفريق، ووعي يرتقي بالفكر لآفاق أوسع وعوالم أرحب، وتطوع ينثر أريج العطاء والخير في ربوع الحياة، وإسناد يضيف للتدريب ومهارات العمل بعداً يكمل للطالب بناء شخصيته. وتأتي منظومة نجاح بمقصوراتها فنون، زخرف، بنيان، وحاء، ومركز تعزيز مسالك التعلم، ومركز مهارات الكتابة، وأنجز لتوفر مصادر مفتوحة للتعلم تنمي مهارات الطالب الفردية وحسه الإبداعي وذائقته الفنية، وتنمي لديه فرص النجاح. كما يتيح مركز ريادة الأعمال متسعاً للطالب لسبر أغوار عالم ريادة الأعمال من خلال ما يقدمه من تدريب وورش واستشارات، وما يتسنى للطلاب من مسرعات أعمال وحاضنات لتحويل الأفكار إلى شركات طلابية ومشاريع ناجحة، فيما يوجه بحوثه للارتقاء بمنظومة ريادة الأعمال في سلطنة عمان ومدها بخبرات العالم في هذا المجال. وتأكيداً لدور الجامعة في نمو مجتمع المعرفة ومده بالتدريب الفني والتقني والاحترافي، يأتي دور أكاديمية نزوة للتدريب والتطوير ومعهد الضاد لتعليم العربية للناطقين بغيرها لتقديم مستوى معرفي يرتقي بالمؤسسات والأفراد معاً. وحيث إنه لا مجال لبلوغ الوطن لاقتصاد المعرفة إلا بالبحث العلمي والابتكار، فقد أخذت الجامعة على عاتقها بلورة هذا الدور الحيوي والمحوري بتمكين طلابها وباحثيها تمكينا يتجاوز بناء القدرات واستقطاب الكفاءات إلى الإسهام الفاعل في إنتاج المعرفة وتوطينها وإيجاد الحلول لتحديات الواقع بالبحث العلمي وتمكين تحويل مخرجاته بالتطوير المعرفي والتطوير التقني وتطوير الأعمال. عبر مركز توطين الابتكار فغدت بيئة البحث العلمي وممكناته في الجامعة متنوعة بين كراس بحثية ومختبرات متعددة ومراكز متخصصة لتثمر نتاجاً رفيعاً رسمته أوراق علمية عالمية محكمة وكتب ودراسات وبراءات اختراع ومشاركات مميزة في محافل محلية ودولية. وعزز هذا النتاج شراكات جادة مع القطاعين الصناعي والحكومي على المستوى المحلي، وشراكات بحثية تعزز الكفاءة مع العديد من مؤسسات العالم البحثية والتعليمية. وكان لذلك الأثر المعلى في رفع نوعية البحوث المنشورة واضطراد صداها بالاقتباس علاوة على ما أوجدته من بيئة جاذبة للكفاءات والعقول، وما أثرت به من إسهام مقدر في رصيد سلطنة عمان في مؤشر الابتكار العالمي. وعزز ذلك اهتمام الجامعة بإنماء مواردها البشرية عبر برامج التأهيل والتدريب، مما ساهم في رفع نسب الكفاءات العمانية. ويتحقق حسن عطاء الجامعة في خدمة المجتمع من خلال تكثيف الترابط مع مؤسسات المجتمع وتقديم العون الفني والمادي عبر صندوق خدمة المجتمع، علاوة على الاستشارات وما يضمه برنامج العمل التطوعي من خدمات جليلة لتعزيز مفاهيم الريادة المجتمعية للجامعة. فيما يقف صندوق مساندة المتعلمين مع الطالب يعينه على ما قد تعترضه من تحديات مالية، وإدراكاً للشراكات المجتمعية ونهوضاً بهذه الأدوار وترقيتها، يأتي إنشاء مؤسسة معين الوقفية الخاصة ليتسع العطاء ويزداد النماء. إن قصة النجاح لم تكن لتروى بعيداً عن التزام تام بمعايير الجودة الشاملة تقوم بها وحدات الجامعة وموظفوها وطلابها، فهي تطور مستمر في كل محاور العمل ولكل الخدمات، يثمر بلا ريب نجاحات ومراكز متقدمة يشهد بها البعيد قبل القريب لتعلو راية الوطن وليزداد تقدمه ونماؤه.
It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Rashid bin Saeed Al-Abri, Conference Chair, Dean of the College of Engineering and Architecture, University of Nizwa, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Rashid, the stage is yours.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سعادة المهندس بدر بن سالم بن مرهون المعمري، رئيس هيئة المشاريع والمناقصات والمحتوى المحلي الموقر. الأستاذ الدكتور أحمد بن خلفان الرواحي، رئيس جامعة نزوة الموقر. أصحاب السعادة والأفاضل المكرمون، الضيوف الكرام من داخل السلطنة وخارجها، الأساتذة الباحثون والمتحدثون الرئيسيون والشركاء من المؤسسات الأكاديمية والصناعية، الطلبة الأعزاء. أيها الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأسعد الله صباحكم بكل خير. يطيب لي أن أرحب بكم جميعاً في رحاب جامعة نزوة، هذا الصرح الأكاديمي الذي يواصل أداء رسالته كونه منارة علم ورشاد في بناء الإنسان ورعاية المعرفة وفتح آفاق التعاون العلمي محلياً ودولياً. نلتقي اليوم في افتتاح المؤتمر الدولي للهندسة الإبداعية والتقنيات الناشئة، استكشاف آفاق المستقبل تحت شعار هندسة عالم أكثر اخضراراً، وهو شعار يجسد وعياً علمياً ومسؤولية أخلاقية تجاه ما يواجه العالم من تحديات متسارعة في مجالات الطاقة والمناخ والموارد والاستدامة. وإن اختيار هذا الموضوع لم يأت من فراغ، بل جاء انطلاقاً من إيماننا بأن الهندسة لم تعد معنية فقط بابتكار الحلول التقنية، بل أصبحت مطالبة أيضاً بالإسهام في صياغة مستقبل أكثر توازناً واستدامة للأجيال القادمة. أيها الحضور الكريم، إن هذا المؤتمر في نسخته الأولى يمثل منصة علمية دولية للحوار البناء وتبادل الخبرات بين الباحثين والممارسين والخبراء وصناع القرار في مجالات الهندسة الإبداعية والتقنيات الناشئة، وهو مساحة فكرية ومهنية لتقاطع الرؤى واستشراف الحلول وتعزيز الشراكات التي تسهم في دعم التحول نحو اقتصاد أخضر قائم على الابتكار والمعرفة، بما يتوافق مع رؤية عمان 2040 وكذلك الخطة الاستراتيجية لجامعة نزوة 2025-2030. وقد حرصنا في هذه النسخة أن يعكس المؤتمر تنوعاً علمياً حقيقياً عن طريق مساراته الرئيسية التي تشمل الهيدروجين الأخضر وأنظمة الحياد الكربوني والابتكار البيئي في إدارة المياه والنفايات والانبعاثات والمدن الذكية والبنية التحتية المرنة مناخياً، والابتكار في الهندسة الكهربائية والإلكترونية والحاسوبية، والابتكارات الحيوية في المواد والهندسة التجديدية، إلى جانب مسار بحوث الطلبة والابتكار. وهذه المحاور تعكس التزامنا المشترك بربط البحث العلمي باحتياجات المجتمع والصناعات بأولوية التنمية المستدامة ورؤية عمان المستقبلية. ويسعدنا في هذا المؤتمر أن نشهد هذا الحضور العلمي الدولي الواسع، إذ استقطب المؤتمر مشاركات من باحثين ينتمون إلى 33 جامعة ومؤسسة بحثية من 17 دولة، وهو ما يعكس الأهمية المتزايدة لهذا الحدث العلمي، ويؤكد أن قضايا الهندسة والاستدامة والابتكار أصبحت قضايا إنسانية مشتركة تتطلب تعاوناً عابراً للحدود. ومن دواعي اعتزازنا كذلك ما يجمعه هذا المؤتمر من شركاء دوليين ومتحدثين مرموقين من خارج سلطنة عمان، قدموا من مؤسسات أكاديمية وبحثية وصناعية ذات حضور دولي مؤثر. ويسعدنا أن نرحب مشاركين ومتحدثين من جامعة هال في المملكة المتحدة، ومن جامعة كومسات في باكستان، ومن جامعة شمال شرق الصين، ومن جامعة الحسين بن طلال في الأردن، ومن الجامعة الألمانية للتكنولوجيا في عمان، وجامعة فودان في الصين، وخبراء من ألمانيا، إلى جانب مؤسسات وشركات ذات ثقل مهني ومعرفي مثل ميناء صحار والمنطقة الحرة والجمعية العمانية للطاقة وشركة دليل للنفط، ومؤسسات صناعية وبحثية أخرى أسهمت في إثراء هذا البرنامج العلمي. إن هذه الشراكة الدولية تمثل قيمة مضافة حقيقية، لأنها تتيح لنا أن نصغي إلى تجارب متنوعة وأن نبني جسوراً من التعاون العلمي والمهني المستدام. الحضور الكرام، لقد كان الإقبال على هذا المؤتمر مشجعاً ومحل اعتزاز لجامعتنا، وقد توج ذلك بقبول عدد كبير من الأوراق العلمية بعد عملية تحكيم أكاديمي دقيقة، الأمر الذي يعكس مستوى الجدية والرصانة العلمية التي حرصت عليها اللجنة العلمية للمؤتمر. وما كان لهذا الجهد أن يكتمل لولا العمل المخلص والمتواصل الذي قامت به مختلف اللجان كل في مجال مسؤولياته. ومن هذا المنبر أتقدم بخالص الشكر والتقدير إلى اللجان التنظيمية للمؤتمر ومن قام بمساندتهم من مختلف الجامعات من خارج السلطنة وداخلها، وكذلك الدوائر والأقسام من داخل الجامعة، على ما بذلوه من جهد كبير وعمل دؤوب وروح تعاون عالية أسهمت جميعها في إنجاح هذا المؤتمر وإظهاره في الصورة المشرفة. وأخص بالشكر جميع الطلبة المتطوعين الذين عملوا بصمت وإخلاص خلف الكواليس، وكانوا مثالاً رائعاً في تحمل المسؤولية والانتماء المؤسسي. وفي هذا المقام يطيب لي أن أخص بالشكر رعاة هذا المؤتمر وشركاءه من مؤسسات القطاعين العام والخاص، الذين كان لدعمهم الكريم أثر بالغ في إخراج الفعالية بالصورة التي تليق بمكانة الجامعة ورسالتها العلمية. ويسرني أن أتقدم بجزيل الامتنان إلى كل من نماء لتوزيع الكهرباء وشركة وادي نور والشركة العمانية لنقل الكهرباء ومجلس مجان وجامعة هال وجامعة كومستاس وجامعة الحسين بن طلال وجامعة فودان ومدائن والجمعية العمانية للطاقة أوبال وجامعة التقنية والعلوم التطبيقية فرع نزوى وعرب رينا، على ما قدموه من دعم مادي أو لوجستي وثقة بهذا المؤتمر وإسهامات فاعلة في تعزيز منظومة البحث والابتكار والهندسة الإبداعية. ولا يفوتني أن أعرب عن بالغ الشكر والتقدير للباحثين المشاركين والمتحدثين الرئيسيين والمحكمين ولكل من أسهم بفكرة أو جهد أو وقت في إنجاح هذا المؤتمر، لأن المؤتمرات العلمية لا تنهض إلا بسواعد المؤمنين بقيمة العلم وبرسالة الجامعة وبأهمية الشراكة بين المعرفة والعمل. أيها الحضور الكرام، إننا نأمل أن يكون هذا المؤتمر فرصة حقيقية لتلاقح الأفكار وتبادل الخبرات وفتح آفاق جديدة للتعاون البحثي والمؤسسي، وأن تسهم جلساته ونقاشاته ومخرجاته في تعزيز الوعي بأهمية الهندسة الإبداعية والتقنيات الناشئة في بناء مستقبل أكثر استدامة ومرونة وازدهارا. ونرجو لضيوفنا من خارج عمان إقامة طيبة بيننا في وطنهم الثاني، وأن يحملوا معهم من جامعة نزوى ومن عمان صورة مشرقة عن العلم والشراكة والضيافة الأصيلة. ختاماً، أتوجه بخالص الشكر والتقدير إلى سعادة المهندس بدر بن سالم بن مرهون المعمري راعي حفلنا هذا على تفضله برعاية هذا المؤتمر وعلى حضوره الكريم الذي نعتز به في هذا المحفل العلمي. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid, for your inspiring speech and warm welcome. To provide a hint of our conference preparation, we will now watch a short video. May I request the technical team to kindly play the video.
قد يقاس سمو الأمم ورقيها بمدى اهتمامها بالعلم والمعرفة لتكون مؤلفاتها ومنجزاتها تاريخاً مجيداً يصون الإنسان ويشيد الأوطان. ها هي كلية الهندسة والعمارة في جامعة نزوى.
Welcome to the International Conference on Creative Engineering and Emerging Technologies.
The objective of this conference is to create a venue for constructive dialogue, knowledge exchange among researchers, practitioners, and the decision makers. Also, it supports the transition toward green knowledge and innovation-based economy.
You are from which committee?
Logistic Committee.
Alhamdulillah, we have received a lot of submission for this conference, resulted in accepted 155 papers from 17 countries, representing 33 universities. Thank you for all the support that we have received, and thank you all.
In preparation to the conference, the Sponsorship and Finance Committee has secured a very good sponsorship from different industries in Oman. Thanks to all of them.
It has strengthened our global presence. We successfully transformed our experience and platform from local engagement to international level, and therefore we committed with global academic excellence.
We try our best to announce about the conference in the social university media and in the international media.
Well, for the program, we receive more than 150 papers, and we have also 10 keynote speakers. So we arrange for the program.
Alhamdulillah, we have made a lot of effort in preparing this conference, and inshallah we will have a beautiful exhibition as well.
The live committee is the best part of the program because it's took responsibility of the logistic. We had three main core. The main core was student participation. A student arranged all the things in the conference from zero to hero.
ICCEET 2026.
It is now time for the special keynote address. We are honored to welcome Dr. Abdullah Sulaiman Al-Abdi, Vice President Sustainability, Suharbo Fizan. Dr. Al-Abdi is the Vice President for Sustainability at Suharbo and Fizan, one of the largest industrial and logistics hubs in the Middle East. He leads strategic initiatives across energy transition, industrial industrial decarbonization, infrastructure development, and sustainable growth. With over 20 years of international experience across industry, policy, and research, Dr. Al-Abri has held leadership roles in major organizations, including Petroleum Development Oman, Shell, Woodside Energy, and the International Energy Agency, IEA, where he contributed to global energy transition strategies and flagship reports. He has led multi-billion-dollar portfolios spanning oil and gas, renewable energy, hydrogen, carbon capture, and industrial ecosystem development. Dr. Al-Abri is also an active contributor to academia and research, with work focusing on sustainability, system thinking, and the intersection of energy, economics, and innovation. He brings a unique perspective that bridges engineering, strategic leadership, and real-world implementation of large-scale transition programs. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Abdullah Sulaiman Al-Abri.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صباح الخير لكم جميعا، حياكم الله وبياكم. Your Excellency, Engineer Badr Al-Ma'mari, Honorable Chancellor of Nizwa University, Conference Chair, faculty members, researchers, colleagues from industry, and equally so, the students. I'm really humbled to be here before you today. I'm humbled by the achievements of Nizwa University as a fine institution in education, research, and partnerships. Partnerships that extend much beyond the local context, but go across the borders to the region and international. I was really amazed and equally surprised by the achievements of this institution that were shown before us just in the slides before. So congratulations to the leadership of the university, congratulations to the faculty members, and I'm sure that the students are really in safe hands. So today, I come here with a thesis that says simply, we need to focus on engineering the ecosystem around us. It's not only the products and technologies, which are fundamental. It's not only the policies and the regulations, which are fundamental, but it's across the ecosystem, starting from the infrastructure to the utilities, to the financial engineering, to the skills and capabilities, to the policies of the local content, and of course covering the product development and technologies. So I come today representing Sohar Port and Free Zone, which is the largest industrial cluster in Oman and one of the largest in the GCC. And we're seeing already a shift in the mentality of investors, a shift in the expectations, and a shift in the aspirations for future positioning of industries. We're seeing different type of mentalities, different type of investors. So that shift goes from the conventional requirements of considering purely cost and incentives, i.e. the investor comes knocking on our doors, asking of what kind of investments, what kind of costs and investments that you're offering, to something of what is the resilience of the system, what is the reliability of the system. And we cannot see it any more obvious than the current days, that the reliability, the business continuity are really fundamental to any business. We're also seeing a shift wherein investors are not only asking about the location, which is still fundamental, but looking into what kind of integrated ecosystems that you may have in Sohar Port and Free Zone, but also across other ecosystems in Oman and the region. Over the last 15 and beyond years, Oman has flourished, providing and incentivizing the development of industrial ecosystems like Sohar Port and Free Zone by providing available and reliable and cost-competitive energy. That is still true, but then the shift we're seeing is that investors are so much keen to be connected to clean and low-carbon energy. The second one is the shift in the mentality from being compliance, only thinking of compliant with the regulations and policies, but to something like, what would the system do for me if I really perform well? So it's more of a performance and transparency system, and we're seeing that shift as we cruise into the future. So really the question, the fundamental question that we're seeing is, or at least in the minds of investors, can I build something that is resilient, reliable, and strong enough for the future? So that's the mentality of the investors and businesses. Obviously, Oman has a very strategic location, and we cannot see any more clearer than what's going on in the region these days. So Oman is really part of the Gulf, but outside of the Gulf. We have some of the most competitive resources in terms of energy, but also renewable energy, that we can provide to industries, but then that business continuity is fundamental, and we see it these days and beyond. We have a very powerful and very established industrial base in Oman. Sohar Port and Free Zone is a very much industrial base. We are less of a transshipment logistics hub, but more of industrial ecosystem, wherein we produce products and innovation that we utilize in the local ecosystem in Oman, but also export to the world. And we get from the world feedstocks and commodities that we use for our industries. We are so much connected to an energy ecosystem that spans from gas, oil, renewables, power, and more so towards clean hydrogen and CCUS. We work very much in line with Vision 2040 of the country, wherein we are really a strong engine for economic diversification. We intend to really intensify and bring in top-tier industrial bases to Sohar Port and Free Zone. So we understand that economic diversification is much beyond than energy, much beyond than location, but it really relies on a fully functioning ecosystem. The competition is intensifying. We live in a region that relies so much on competitive energy, in a region that relies so much on similar industries to the most part. So that's why we continue to update and sharpen our positioning into the future. Sohar Port and Free Zone is a partnership between the government of Oman through Asiad as a logistics integrated company and the Port of Rotterdam in Netherlands. So we have that international governance, international standards that we continue to adhere for the working models and for the compliance and the future positioning. Sohar Port and Free Zone has successfully managed to attract over $35 billion of investments over the last 20 years. We celebrated the completion of 20 years in existence last year, and we crossed investments worth more than $35 billion. We receive more than 3,000 ships and vessels. We have a land area of around 6,700 hectares. So for those of you who've been to Rotterdam, you'll be impressed by the area of Rotterdam, but we have a similar area to Rotterdam, despite the fact that Rotterdam has been in existence since the 14th century. We're just 20 years old. We have a trade value of over $44 billion every year. So that's the trade volume that we do every year. And of course, we are a big engine for employment in Oman with more than 40,000 jobs. As an ecosystem, we truly aspire to strengthen the connection between logistics, industry, and energy, and of course, policy and regulations, local content requirements. That ecosystem is what really makes it incentivizing for the investor. The investor comes in and sees that all the dots are connected so that they are really safe and everything is clear for them to cruise into the future. We truly focus on defined clusters. So we are focusing on metals clusters, petrochemical cluster, food cluster, logistics cluster, clean technology manufacturing cluster, and logistics. These are the clusters that we continue to develop across the value chain. We have a global market access. Our ships, our vessels can reach to everywhere in the world, but also we are very much connected locally and to the GCC. The rail network is supposed or is proposed to be completed end of next year or beginning of 2028. So that will also provide another connectivity inland to the wider GCC. We're really moving our thinking from thinking assets, isolated infrastructure, to something more of an ecosystem. How can be more of orchestrators, more of builders, so system integration orchestrators. We see sustainability coming at the forefront of investments. It's not only energy security that is important, but also the diversification of the energy portfolio. And that includes the renewables, that includes the clean hydrogen, that includes the CCUS and the storage. Cost competitiveness is something that we continue to monitor and continue to optimize, again, from this integration. We always put our shoes in the shoes, or our thinking in the shoes of the investor, and trying to speak with the language of how could I support and how could I partner with the investor so that the investor makes it in Sohar Port and Free Zone, so that the investor makes it into the future. We believe if the investor is successful, then we are all successful. So it's more of a partnership language than anything else. We continue to really operationalize resilience, reliability, promoting our industries in the region and globally. And of course, again, we see sustainability as a business enabler. I'll give you some examples of the things that we've been working on very closely. And this work was done very closely to Majan Council, who are sitting here today. We work very closely to establish a business case for renewables, connecting renewables to Sohar Port and Free Zone. We work almost with everybody on the screen. So it's a comprehensive work architecture that took months to really come together to a cohesive business case that so much resonate with the policymakers, with the regulators, but also with the industry and investors. So you could see on the far right-hand side are the potential off-takers of the renewables. So we looked into a number of angles, but the two really important angles, the first one is the energy system. Sohar Port and Free Zone lies up in the north, so it's 2 hours drive from Muscat towards the north. The question was, how do we get more renewables? We know that Oman is so much blessed with solar and wind. The question is, what is accessible to Sohar? What is that accessibility? So we work very closely with the stakeholders to identify the potential feeders to Sohar. So we saw 6 options, as you could see. I will not go in details, but the fundamental question to us was, what is that energy system, or what should that energy system look like for Sohar Port and Free Zone? So the first option is we could generate some of the very small-scale renewables from the rooftops. So putting PV panels on the rooftops of warehouses and industries. It'll be very small scale, but it's an opportunity for SMEs in Oman. The second option is to use a land that is assigned and designated for renewables in Shinas. That land can be utilized for the generation of renewables. It's big, but not big enough to really satisfy all the requirements of Sohar Port and Free Zone. The third and the fourth options are to utilize the lands behind the mountains towards Ibril, Libremi, and Dank. There is massive lands in that area. The question is, can we utilize those lands, monetize some of the renewable potential, and bring it to Sohar? So we did it whether through a new grid line, so a new transmission line towards Sohar. So we build a new line with OETC, bring in the renewables from Ibri, Dhank, and Bremi, or we utilize Mhada substation that currently exists. The fifth option, which is to utilize some of the lands close to the highway going from Muscat to Sohar, and the argument was from the transmission company who are with us here today, is that anything that we can generate in that area, it'll be easier to be connected to the grid and then transported to Sohar Port and Free Zone as energy, as power. And the last one, what if we get renewables from the south of Oman? So we evaluated all the options to the students that are here today. This is the way that things are developed. This is the way that projects are developed for industry. So you could see that we start with evaluation of opportunities, of where could we start getting the feeder of renewables from, and then plug it into Sohar. So this is so much on the energy system. If I move on the energy value, so looking into the costs of the megawatt hour. After all, the off-takers are so much keen on what they are paying to the government, what they are paying to the purchase of power, and of course, that will be impacted in their balance sheets. So we looked into the economics, we linked into the tariff breakdown. We could see that we would require around 2 gigawatts of renewables coming to Sohar, and you could see from the profile, the green profile, it's a PV production. So it goes all the way, covering most of our demand during the daytime, and then we would still rely on the grid for the evening. Of course, the national grid in Oman is also getting more and more renewables, but that also stimulates the thinking that we need storage at some point in time. We've done the cost breakdown, and we've looked into what would be the price or the cost of the megawatt hour, which will be in the money. It's so much competitive compared to the conventional energy that we're producing. So this is the breakdown. This slide shows the energy value. Previous slide shows the energy system. This slide shows the energy value. Once we understand these two components, then we have a system value. So the system has a real value that is so much viable to industries, and we can call it as a viable project. The second case is we are installing what we call is shore power. Shore power is connecting the ships, the vessels. When the ships come to our port, then they can be connected to the grid, shutting off some of their auxiliary engines. So when the ships come to our port, they still run on their engines for the cooling, for the restaurants, for the offices. But our thinking is that they can shut off the majority of their engines when they are docking in Sohar Port and Free Zone, therein connected to the grid. Very similar to the EV, the electric vehicle car, when it gets connected to the electrical power charger. This will be phase 2. So we have already phase 1 of the shore power in Sohar Port. We are ramping up to phase 2 in our terminals. We are the first in the Middle East to really install shore power for our ships, thereby decarbonizing our industries and also making more services for Sohar Port and Free Zone. The third one is that we are installing hydropower turbines on the water canal. For some of you who came to Sohar Port and Free Zone, you would have probably seen the water canal that runs across the industries. That water canal runs 24 hours a day. So the thinking was, let's utilize the energy of that water, of that running water, and produce some of the electricity from the running water 24 hours a day. So as we speak, the turbines are installed on the water canal. And they will produce around 8 megawatts of power that will be connected to one of those industries. So with that, I've talked about some projects that we are doing in Sohar Port. And again, back to the initial thesis that the development of products and technologies is fundamental, and we rely so much on our partnerships across the nation, but also our partnership with Nizwa University. The week before last, we had Dr. Rashid and his team coming to Sohar Port and Free Zone. We discussed how can we strengthen partnership in the areas of energy storage, of waste management, and circularity. that is something that we have a big potential for, and it's one of our current opportunity areas. So our thinking has already moved and continues to be moving from thinking projects to platforms, i.e., how can we bring together the energy with the infrastructure, with the policies, with the regulations, with the utilities, all in one room so that we can discuss how can we support industrial ecosystems like Sohar to really be resilient and accelerate growth into the future. Events like this is where everybody flourish, is that we continue to sharpen our thinking, exchange our experiences and insights, and have a better coordination for opportunities to partner with. So that provide us with a platform for us to grow more resilient into the future. And of course, with that, we provide the ecosystems that the investors, whether from Oman, the region, or internationally, aspire to see for their businesses and for their growth. Alongside this, we understand that connecting projects to Sohar Port is one thing, but establishing real industries is another thing. So we are establishing, as we speak, clean technology manufacturing cluster. We have the first polysilicon manufacturing in the Middle East. So establishes a polysilicon manufacturing in Sohar. We are also commissioning this year a PV manufacturing facility in Sohar. We've signed up, and the projects are in execution for the ingots and the wafers. So with that, we complete the value chain for solar. We are also working to localize some of the industries for the wind and for the hydrogen. With that, we really have a solid base for clean technology manufacturing in Sohar, which we see it as a competitive and a future positioning. We also have announced, and the project is in execution, it will be commissioned end of next year, the first LNG bunkering facility in the Middle East, a project that is signed between OQ, Integrated Energy Company, which is the national energy company in Oman, and Total Energies. That LNG bunkering will provide 1 million tons of bunker LNG to ships. We see that as a bold move into the future, besides the clean technology manufacturing and the other aspects that we're doing. I invite you all to visit Sohar Port and Free Zone, and I look forward to really a fruitful discussion today and greater partnership with everybody. With that, I finish off my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah Al-Abri, for your enlightening keynote and valuable insight into the future of engineering, a greener world. We are honored to have a special panel discussion organized by Majan Council, topic Building Oman's Green Industrial Future, Innovation, R&D, and local manufacturing as engines of the economic transformation. The panelists are welcome to the stage. Dr. Abdulrahman Baburek, Energy Transition Expert and Executive Director of the Majan Council. Dr. Abdullah Sulaiman Al-Abri, Vice President, Sustainability, Sohar Port Free Zone. Dr. Ma'an Hayyan, Director of Energy and Sustainability, Research Center at Sharqiya University. Dr. Rashid Al-Badwawi, General Manager, Green Hydrogen Project Support at Oman Electricity Transmission Company. Dr. Nasser Al-Razaqi, Sustainability Expert at Oman Net Zero Center, OBAL. The panel is moderated by Dr. Abdurrahman Babureik. He is an energy transition expert and executive director of the Majan Council for Foresight, Strategic Affairs, and Energy. He leads strategic high-impact research and advisory work supporting industrial decarbonization, green industrialization, workforce development, and clean energy policy across Oman and the GCC.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, researchers, students, and thank you for a nice introduction. First of all, in the name of Majan Council for Foresight, Strategic Affairs and Energy, I would express our sincere appreciation for University of Nizwa and for the organization committee for providing this chance and a valuable opportunity to host this dialogue, which is green industrialization, and that will be the marks of launching Majan Dialogue Series in this topic. This is a strategic initiative to address and advancing the dialogue on industrial transformation, economic diversification, and workforce development in Oman and in GCC. I also would like to extend our thanks and appreciation to our distinguished panelist and expert who is coming from Muscat, far away, to enrich this panel discussion and enrich this dialogue. Before starting, allow me to introduce our distinguished panelist, Dr. Abdullah Sulaiman Al-Abri, the Vice President for Sustainability at Sohar Port and Free Zone, with over 25 years of experience across the energy sector, specializing in the energy transition, industrial decarbonization, and large-scale infrastructure development, including the renewable energy, hydrogen projects, and green technologies, with the leadership roles in organizations such as BDO, Woodside Energy, and International Energy Agency. Dr. Abdullah, thank you for joining us today. Next, I would like also to welcome Dr. Rashid Al-Badawi, the General Manager of Green Hydrogen Project Support at Oman Electricity Transmission Company, bringing over 30 years of leadership experience across Oman's energy and utility sectors, with expertise in strategic planning, large-scale project execution, and renewable energy systems. Dr. Rashid, we are welcoming you today to the panel discussion, and thank you for accepting our invitation. Dr. Ma'an Hayyan, we have Dr. Ma'an Hayyan, the Director of the Energy and Sustainability Research Center and the Associate Professor at Sharqiya University. Dr. Ma'an recognized among the world's top 2% of the scientists for the pioneering work in green engineering, with extensive contribution to applied research, innovation, and energy transition technologies. Dr. Ma'an, thank you for joining us. And also we would like to welcome Dr. Nasser Ruzaiqi, the sustainability expert at Oman Net Zero Center. Dr. Nasser plays as a strategic planner specializing in optimization modeling, decision science, and data-driven policy planning, and extensive experience supporting government and industry in the energy system, decarbonization, and sustainability transitions. Again, it's truly our pleasure to have you all with us today. And before starting, let me start the discussion by framing the discussion from the industrial perspective. As we all know that Oman has ambitious target for the energy transition toward low carbon systems, or low carbon economy under the vision, Oman Vision 2040 and net zero target by 2050. At the same time, the transition requires large-scale deployment of green technologies such as solar PV, batteries, wind turbine, and electrolyzer, which many of them are mainly or currently imported from outside of Oman. The question, or this raises a critical question about the readiness of local industrial capacity inside Oman. At the same time, we have also, it presents a significant opportunity for developing domestic industries and supporting economic diversification, as Dr. Abdullah mentioned in his slide. With this in mind, I would like to start with you, Dr. Abdullah, giving your role at Sohar Port and Free Zone. As you mentioned, Sohar Port is one of the largest or leading industrial ports in Oman and in the region. From your perspective, how the industrial zones and clusters contribute to translate Oman green ambitions into bankable and scalable green industrial projects, and what could be or what are the key policies or enablers to support this transition?
Thank you, Dr. Abdurrahman, for the generous introduction, but also for moderating the panel. It's a fundamental question. It's a big one. It's a tough one. I would say the question is, how do we translate the the aspirations of the green industrialization into bankable projects, bankable and scalable, which are the keywords that we need to keep in mind. The first one in Sohar is obviously to have a strategy. And the strategy for us is we have it until 2030. Of course, we have a vision until 2040, but then we also divided the vision into strategies, a 5-year strategy, which currently we are in a one that runs until or towards 2030. We understand that a strategy gives us the direction of travel, but in itself cannot produce bankable and scalable projects. We fully realize this. And we fully realize that we live in an area that witnesses a lot of supply chain transformation, partnerships reformation, a lot of expectations from investors. So what we do to really help facilitate the development of projects that are really commercially viable and scalable, the first one is we aggregate the demand. Similar to the case that I showed in the presentation for the renewable power, we go and speak to our industries. We play that orchestrator role. So we aggregate the demand, and that should provide the economies of scale in a way. The second one, the way we approach this is we de-risk some of the critical components along the value chain. Whether that means establishing some of the common use infrastructure, whether that means is that we need to formulate the financial engineering. So we do some of the financial engineering wherein we see the best match for the project, whether it's PPP or whether it's fully private or fully government. That is something that we play a role in. And thirdly, is that we continue to integrate the key components of the industry. The first one is infrastructure. The second one is utilities. And the third one is the financing engineering or the investment engineering. And the fourth one is the policies and regulations. And that includes also the local content. And the last one, which may not be that clear to some of us, is the capabilities. When investors come to Oman, they don't only think to the stage of signing, but they think mainly after the stage of signing. And some of the questions that they have in mind is, do I have the connectivity, the logistical connectivity with the wider Oman, or the wider GCC, or the global? And in Sohar, for instance, we have that marvelous connectivity. The second one is they
think of is the workforce. Is there any capabilities in the countries wherein if I need engineers, technicians, operators, managers, safety professionals, then I can easily source out. That's the second thing that the investors look at. So to your question, Dr. Abdurrahman, how do we build bankable and scalable projects, is that we focus on these de-risking investments, building the ecosystems, aggregating the demand, and of course continue to push for partnerships like with universities and partners.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah, for this valuable insights. Indeed, we are expecting the growth in terms of jobs creation will be created within Sohar Port and Free Zone. Currently, the total employment around 40,000 jobs. And I think with establishing a local clean clusters, this number will significantly increase. Let me move to the hydrogen context. As we know, Oman already advanced its ambitions to become a leading player in the global hydrogen economy by 2050. An important question emerged around localization, industrial value chain to support that. What's the role of establishing a local value chain starting from mining, exploration, processing, and manufacturing the components itself, like solar PV, wind turbine, and electrolyzers. Dr. Rashid, I would like to ask you, from your perspective in hydrogen project development, how strategic or how it's important for Oman hydrogen strategy to consider a local manufacturing across the value chain.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for the introduction and for having us here. That's very crucial question, I would say. Localization is always important thing to have, and for the green hydrogen or for the clean energy in general, of course, that's of a paramount importance as well, probably due to a couple of things, like maybe 4 to 5 reasons I will try to say in this short period of time. The first one is, of course, the economy diversification. That's very important. You know, Oman is relying more on oil and gas, and we need to go for something more sustainable. And the green hydrogen is a very good example for that. And the country is taking a lot of important steps to position itself as a leader. And this is a second reason for that one, to be a leader for the production of hydrogen and production of the other items which will lead you to the production of that one. For the green hydrogen, of course, you need to produce it from the renewable energy, from the solar, from the wind. You need also a storage. And localizing those big ticket items for this industry is important so that you have it next to you. And a good example, what we have right now with the geopolitical situation we have in the region right now, it shows that how important to have your items, your product, your equipment closer to you. So that's the second reason for it, so that Oman become a real leader in the hydrogen production. A third reason, I would say, it's something for innovation as well. We are sitting here in the university where innovation is an important thing, for instance, for the faculty, for the student, for the country itself. And that by itself will help in, as well, the development of talent people, yeah? So that those graduate students will become very ready for the industry to take over the project from the day one, I would say, by having the right knowledge and skills for that one. A fourth reason is basically, we can say as well, for the energy security itself as well, going away from the oil and gas as well, and depending on the renewable energy. But that, of course, brings other challenges, the intermittency, where we have to deal with it, but it creates another opportunity as well by having storage system for us. For instance, like BSS, like hydro and other possible, even the hydrogen itself, hydrogen storage, I would say. And one of the most important thing, if I can add as well here, is the sustainability for the environment itself. By having renewable energy, at least you will contribute a lot to the vision of the country, the Vision 2040, and you will contribute a lot, of course, for the net zero by 2050. Thank you.
Dr. Rashid, this gives us a clear picture about how it's challenging for the future to keep or to follow the Oman hydrogen strategies. We have around 400 millions of solar panels. We will need it for the project by 2050, more than 10,000 of wind turbines. And thinking about how to develop the industrial local capacity is very crucial. But achieving this at these scales require strong policy coordination and national alignment. I believe that Oman Net Zero Center is central to this effort, particularly the center playing in guiding role to decarbonize different sectors, supporting different implementation of decarbonization pathways. So for that, I would like to ask Dr. Nasser, could you share the main initiatives currently being implemented to advance the green industrialization in Oman?
Definitely, Dr. Abdul Rahman. I would like all our esteemed guests, and thanks Majan Council and Nizwa University for the kind invitation. And it's really great to see all this audience, especially the students who are interested to hear about us and learn about these topics. Let me introduce first Oman Net Zero Center. Oman Net Zero Center at the moment was formed under a ministerial decision. It's part of the Ministry of Energy and Minerals, and it completed almost 1 year until the moment, and it has 4 departments. One of the departments is considering or focusing on the carbon market. The second one is focusing on the energy efficiency. The third one is decarbonization in general, and the third one is for monitoring and assurance. One of our main levers, or something that we are working on at the moment and really can help the industry to go on, is updating the national net zero strategy for the country. And the second thing is working on the updated carbon framework. These two is considered as a pillar, or the main pillar that can help decarbonization. By the way, in the next 3 weeks, there will be a press conference from the Ministry of Energy and Minerals. They will announce mainly the sectorial targets in general, and then it will be more the responsibility of regulators to ensure that all the industries, whether it was oil and gas, power, transportation, to focus on their pathway regarding the net zero. One of the main things, I was counting how many Dr. Abdullah Al-Abri was saying bankable. He said like 5 times the word bankable. This is why one of the things that we are really focusing on is green finance. Green financing, I would say it's a lever and a challenge by itself, because when you're shaping your project or focusing on your project, you know what are the challenges that you're facing towards bankability of these projects. And this is where Oman Net Zero Center comes in the picture, where it can attract all these international monies with really low interest. But the things that the processing can take much longer time than anticipated. And some of these projects and some industries focusing on the idea before looking at the finance part. Actually, it all goes hand by hand. It's all important when you look at these projects, especially in decarbonization. Decarbonization, it's good for the environment, it is important, and it's diversifying the country's economy sources, but it all comes out with a cost. And that cost must be tackled in the first time by attracting these international funds. All these international funds does have different requirements, they have different standards, but collaborating with the government, with the regulators at early steps can really help these finances and these investments to go on and on, especially in the future projects. I mean, all our esteemed guests, they told us about the ambitions and the targets that you're looking on, but it's always about how can we break the barriers and work all side by side to achieve the country's target. This is my point.
Dr. Nasser, mashallah, with 1 year, a lot of achievements, Oman Net Zero already done. Indeed, the importance of the national coordination or Oman Net Zero as a national orchestrator to align all the stakeholders to push the decarbonization pathways to support and enhance the economy. As we all know, that building on the insights that have been shared by Dr. Abdullah, Dr. Nasser, and Dr. Rashid, delivering of these ambitions will require or will highly rely on the strength of the labor market and the knowledge and innovation system in Oman. This is where universities, vocational centers, or vocational institutions, the whole education system play a critical role. Dr. Ma'an, from your perspective or from your previous experience establishing different programs related to the green economy or green industry, I would appreciate if you could highlight what the institutional and policy mechanisms are needed to position academia, universities toward applied R&D, industrial problem solving to the market, such as industrial zones, Sohar Port, Doqm, and Salalah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and very good morning. Thank you, Dr. Abdurrahman, for inviting me for this panel discussion. First, I just would like to share with you one secret. I just was informed by Dr. Abdullah that he who is going to sit in the middle will get married with a second wife. So that's why, without hesitation, I take the corner seat. Okay, so media, please don't share the photos today until Dr. Abdurrahman goes back home safely. Okay, back to the question. Let me globalize the scale for the question. If we go back to the traditional relation between the academia and the industry, always the academia has been auxiliary to the industry. However, over time, the academia has evolved to become a stand-alone industry that has its own metrics and market. When we zoom into the metrics, we will see they have rankings, they have accreditation. If we zoom in to the rankings, for instance, all our colleagues here from academia, they know about the QS ranking, Times Higher Education, and the Shanghai ranking. QS ranking, for instance, it has only 20% of the employability and outcomes out of the 100 score for the QS ranking. It's comprising of two indicators. We have the employer reputation with 15% and 5% of employment outcomes. Whereas for the Times Higher Education, it has only 4% of industry. That is 2% for the knowledge transfer and 2% for the patents. And with regards to the Shanghai, it is almost nothing about the employability. That is indicating that is the ranking that is currently universities following or trying to raise. It is like the employability, it is something like second or maybe third priority comparing to the research excellence, comparing to the education and the international engagement. The other metrics about the accreditation. Accreditation, it is too much pedagogical. It is about the education excellence, and there is no high attention to the what's so-called here, to the employability and the industry relation. On the other hand, we have the industry that they are looking to localize the jobs, and they are looking to the workforce. For instance, here in Oman, the Omanization, whereas like there are significant strides are being made by the industry. So it is no longer the relation that is we have like someone following the other, but now we need to rethink about the relationship between both industry and academia on the basis of win-to-win.
Dr. Ma'an, for this valuable insight. Because of the time limitation, I would like to conclude and ask each of our distinguished panelists to share one priority action Oman should focus on the next 5 years to accelerate the green industrialization.
I would say our main takeaway is investing in human capital. One of the catchphrases that I saw here in Nizwa University. The capability and investing in human resources, it is one of the biggest assets that you have. And this is one of the things that we have faced or challenged during establishment of Oman Net Zero Center. When we wanted to establish our super score energy efficiency, we saw that there is a big gap on that, and investing in that topic led to creating a new program. It was collaborated with Ministry of Energy and Minerals, Ministry of Labor, and Sultan Qaboos University to close that gap. I encourage all these universities to look at the market, what are the gaps, how can we invest in and engage with the policymakers and the industries. This is my main takeaway.
Dr. Nasser.
Dr. Abdulrahman, and thanks, Dr. Nasser. I have a number of them, but I'll focus on the top one to my mind. I think the top one is, let me start with the framing. Oman has very mature policies and strategies in energy, in infrastructure, in education, in labor, and so on and so forth. Very mature, very stable. But what we see really fundamental at this stage, and since we have also the pleasure to have His Excellency Badr here, I think an integrated policy that integrates all of these together, that what provides the resilience into the future. So linking the infrastructure policy with the workforce and redeployment, with the local content. At Sohar Port and Free Zone, ultimately what we do and our success is to establish industries. And that's pretty much industrialization and local development. So with that, we see it really obvious that there is a need to really integrate a number of buckets into an integrated policy that links, for example, if we want to establish growth in clean technology manufacturing, then for us to do so, we would require this infrastructure in Sohar Port, this workforce development in Sohar Port and Free Zone, and so on and so forth. I think that would provide a lot of momentum and a lot of seamless integration to the industrial aspirations.
Dr. Rashid, from your side?
Yeah, I think one important thing we need to work as well, in addition to what our colleagues have said here, is the regulation itself. We need to have a clear regulation and framework in place so that an investor really knows where to go. I mean, for instance, there were some initiatives being taken recently with the collaboration of the different entities in the government, like going for instance, a single permit for the green hydrogen, so that the developer knows where really to go, what they need to do to be able to start the project as quickly as possible, simply because we have a lot of, I would say, competition around us, yeah? for instance, for the green hydrogen in particular. And it's very important to position ourselves as a first mover in the world itself to be a hub for the green hydrogen, for instance, and make sure that we produce at least as much as we can from the beginning. A project, yes, we have ACME right now on the ground, but it's good. We have more and more so that really the entire world will know that Oman is now the hub of the green hydrogen, for instance.
Dr. Rashid, Dr. Ma'an, from the academia.
From academia perspective, in my opinion, we need to create a centralized coordination platform. However, that does not mean we need to place additional burden on the academic institutions. Rather, we need to make sure here the fast steps by the industry, the academic institutes will be able to match, because there is a structural gap between the both. So we are in need also for the support of the industry by having what's so-called industry pilot zones for the students, not only for the isolated labs. We need to reinforce about the placement and the internship for the students. We need to have people who can act as focal points between the two industries. Why? Because we are in need to have more resilient and more powerful relationship that where we can unify all the effort towards our ultimate goal. Thank you.
Dr. Ma'an, to conclude, I think advancing green industrialization in Oman based on the shared insights and experience from our distinguished experts require more than ambition. It requires alignment, as Dr. Abdullah mentioned, and colleagues between policy, industry, and knowledge systems, supported by the right skills and institutional frameworks. Yeah, we can say and agree that Oman has a strong foundation and clear directions in terms of policies, regulation, to setting these strategies. But the opportunity now is to translate this into practical and coordinated action that delivers the real economic and industrial values, engaging or sharing the experience or different sectors from the education systems, vocational institution, higher education, and universities. At the end, I would like again to express my appreciation and thanks for our panelists once again to came to Nizwa and share their insights. Also, I would like to extend our appreciation to University of Nizwa and Organization Committee for providing us at Majan Council this opportunity to launch the first Majan Dialogue Series on the green industrialization. Thank you all, and thank you for your time. Inshallah, seeing soon, inshallah, in the next dialogue. Jazakumullah khair.
Please join me to thank our distinguished panelists for this strategic dialogue. We will now proceed with the memento presentation as a token of appreciation to our esteemed keynote speakers and valued sponsors. May I invite our distinguished patron, His Excellency Engineer Badr bin Salim Al-Ma'mari, Chairman of the Projects, Tenders, and Local Content Authority, and Professor Ahmed bin Khalfan Al-Rawahi, Chancellor of the University of Nizwa, Dr. Rashid bin Saeed Al-Abri, the conference chair, to the stage to kindly present the mementos.
We sincerely thank our keynote speakers and panelists. Dr. Abdullah Sulaiman Al-Abri, Vice President Sustainability, Suhar Board, Free Zone. Professor Ali Riza Kamali, Northeastern University, China. Professor Abdullah Ismail Al-Hassanat, Al-Hussein bin Talal University, Jordan. Markus Hissendorf, green designer and independent senior architect, Germany. Dr. Khalid Al-Mugheri, research and development specialist, Oman Energy Association, OBAL. Dr. Adil Al-Busaidi, Principal Sustainability and New Technology Specialist, Dalil Petroleum. Dr. Abdurrahman Baburek, Energy Transition Expert and Executive Director of the Majan Council. Dr. Ma'an Hayyan, Director of Energy and Sustainability Research Center at Sharqiya University. Dr. Rashid Al-Badwawi, General Manager, Green Hydrogen Project Support at Oman Electricity Transmission Company. Dr. Nasser Al-Razeki, Sustainability Expert at Oman Net Zero Center, OBAL. We sincerely thank our sponsors for their generous support for ICCEET 2026. Nama Electricity Distribution. Oman Electricity Transmission Company. the Majan Council. Madain, Oman Chamber of Commerce,
May I request Professor Ahmed bin Khalfan al-Rawahi, Chancellor of the University of Nizwa, to kindly present the memento to the distinguished patron. Thank you, our honorable distinguished patron, His Excellency Engineer Badr bin Salim Al-Ma'mari, Chairman of the Project Tenders and Local Content Authority, and Professor Ahmed bin Khalfan al-Rawahi, Chancellor of the University of Nizwa, and Dr. Rashid bin Saeed Al-Abri, Conference Chair.
Announcement to everyone to remain seated until further notice. All the poster exhibitors, please enter the exhibition hall. As we have reached the end of the inauguration ceremony, there will be displayed poster from some of our authors in the exhibition hall. Now, I would like to invite our distinguished patron, His Excellency Engineer Badr bin Salim Al-Ma'mari, Chairman of the Projects, Tenders, and Local Content Authority, and Professor Ahmed Al-Rawahi, Chancellor of the University of Nizwa, and Dr. Rashid Al-Abri, Conference Chair, and our esteemed guests to proceed to the exhibition hall.
Announcement to all to proceed to visit the exhibition hall. After the visit, please proceed to enjoy your lunch in Al-Hazm Hall. For more information, please check the program book for the afternoon activities. Thank you all.